The question, how does one balance with nature? In Joe Bark's case, he was born on the water. His legacy will be the finest paddleboard ever made.
We build paddleboards and stand-up paddleboards. Boards built for racing, touring, adventure paddles. Started with paddleboards 20-something years ago, almost 30 years ago. And in the last 5-6 years, we've gotten into the stand-up paddleboards.
Stand-up paddleboarding is currently the fastest growing water sport in the world. Joe Bark simply makes the fastest paddleboards on the water.
So I've been in the water, since I was a kid, surfing, diving, fishing. I always heard about the greats in the 60s, 50s, and 60s who paddled Catalina and thought, man, that was pretty cool.
Following in the wake of the greatest generation of board builders, paddlers, and shapers, Joe Bark paddles to the beat of a different drummer, making Bark the 21st century leader in paddleboard design.
I started when I was a kid, and I would have saved a lot of years had I watched somebody shape, and I just kind of winged it for years and years and made the same mistake over and over and over. One guy who did help me was a guy named Jonathan Bruff. Bad Whale Surfboards one day came by my driveway when I was a kid and laid out all his templates and drew them out and said, have at it. And that was my first real, access to someone helping me. And I still do things different when I shape, and guys go, Joe, what are you doing? And I do things maybe not in order, but it's just the way I learn things, and it's the way I get my boards done.
Please do not underestimate this gentle giant. Not only has he logged more time in the water than any other board designer, his boards have won more races than any other brand in the world. Out-of-the-box thinking is a drastic understatement.
I don't think someone's going to buy a board from me if I'm not out paddling trying to learn how the board works. Because every board will ride different for 100 yards when you're fresh, but as you get tired, fatigued, and you're burnt, and the conditions change, you got to know how that board's going to perform, and that's what I'm out there and is doing it. I got to paddle just like the people out there who ride my boards.
These high-tech works of carbon fiber art are all refined, hand-shaped, and finished under the creative eye of the Bark.
Joe's just been such a good guy, and he attracts good people, and we've put a great team from our sander polishers to painters to riggers, and also our team of paddlers, just great people.
Team riders include the fierce competitor Matt Becker, world-class racer John Becker, legendary Vicky Mills, and four-time Olympian Jimmy Terrell, founder of Quick Blade Paddles. The team extends beyond the California sun-kissed shores and has captured the imagination of thousands around the world. The philosophy is team wins.
It's a team. Yeah, the team wins. The research we get from our team riders helps me build a better board. Without our guys giving us feedback, we wouldn't have the right boards. We'd still be spinning our wheels way back.
I've been racing Joe Bark's race boards, his unlimited boards, for a few years now, and excellent craftsmanship, and Joe's a phenomenal craftsman.
I do ride Joe Bark boards, and he's on the cutting edge of the board development right now, and he is trying new things every single week. He's switching us through new boards, on a monthly basis, because he's trying new designs, and so I'm really happy to be a part of his team.
And what he's been great at is allowing someone like myself to come in and help him work with him and time test the boards and make little changes to him and continue to make board after board after board until we get the result we want. And now we're down to more subtle changes before there were big changes. And so that relationship for him and I has been great.
And to get accurate information and data on a board is real important. When someone says, oh, my board feels this way, it really doesn't feel that way until they put the GPS on it, and I can find out what kind of speeds are they getting on it. Because if you're chasing something that's not right, we're just spinning our wheels and going backwards.
In our opinion, Joe Bark is a modern-day virtuoso.
Yeah, so you can hit rocks a lot harder. So, anyways, a lot of it is guesswork. It can't just be done on the computer. It's not a science. We've tested 30 boards to get one board, and we got lucky on it, almost on accident. And some of our experimenting, we kind of got lucky, and we've never built a better board.
That board is Bark's 12-6 competitor, and it is redefining fast. His other hallmark stand-up winner is the 14-foot Dominator. Bark's arsenal does not end here. He is on a roll that is unstoppable.
Well, we got our 12-foot paddleboard we call the CT, and that is unbeatable. It's been winning every race. And then we have our 14-foot CT. We have our Catalina board that has proven to be our great board for the last couple of years. And we keep experimenting, but we keep coming back to that.
I mean, he's just into it. He wants to make the best boards, which he does. I call it pieces of beauty. Every time I see a Joe Bark board, I go, man, this is the nicest thing I've ever seen. You know, they put a lot of soul into it. They put a lot of time and energy into it.
It's a passion, and in the long run, we planted the seed, we're going to reap the harvest down the road. There's no limit. We're not just backing the good paddlers, we're backing personalities. Our whole business here is to back personalities, who people are, and to promote the sport, and it's going to come back one day.
Joe Bark is one of those guys you just can't help but to like. His boards speak for themselves, and his name, well, in this case, the bark is bigger than the bite. Bark, the finest paddle boards in the water.